Hello folks. Now in episode 98 I stated that I finally have a job. It's not quite as big a milestone as, say, getting a new freaking computer, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Because I've been looking for a job for a while. I didn't bring up any details simply due to the fact that that's not what the episode was about. It was about Africa, and I wanted to talk about that. We'd have to save the job stuff for some other time. Well, that time is now, because today, the wildest thing ever happened at my work. And we're here to talk about that for today's episode. And while we're at it, hell, let's just talk about what I'm doing altogether. So I'm doing a title called Inventory, which means, well, basically I've been working there for 5 months at a place that manufactures, sells, and stores airplane parts. I'm given a clipboard with a list of numbers. And I'm going through every shelf, taking off every part, and checking the parts to see if they have a number printed on them, and if it matches the one that's on the sheet, I check that off, along with if there's the right quantity, like say 3 of whatever part. If there's not the right number, I'll just write it somewhere, say, oh, maybe there's 2 or 1 or infinity, I don't know, I'm just kidding. But basically, yeah, and sometimes parts are placed on the wrong shelf, and I just let them know that too. But yeah, I know what to do, I think I've got that handled. But what I didn't have handled was what I'm about to tell you now. I was doing the usual in my room that I work in, and the power goes out. Now look, power outages are nothing new, we've all been there before. It's not new territory for anybody, or I mean maybe for some people. But basically, yeah, the power went out. However though, there was a lot of natural light coming into the building, and I also had the flashlight on my phone, so we were all set. Except not quite enough light to do my job. So I went to the other room to talk to my coworkers, which there are about 4 other people that work in the back building that I do, and nobody's back there. So okay then, I try calling my dad and my boss, but guess what? The damn phone service was out. That's right, I couldn't make calls or text. Hell, I couldn't even call the police if I needed to. Because obviously, no cell phone service. You can't call your parents, you can't call the police, but that's not the point. Basically, this is kind of a big deal. I can't get a hold of anybody that I need to. And I'm the only one back there. Thankfully though, 5 minutes later or something like that, one of my coworkers, we'll name Z. I learned his name today, by the way, but I'm not gonna say it. Everybody's name starts with a different letter back there, and I don't really socialize with them that often, but, you know, since this happened, it's been a little different. But anyways, so he comes back, he's asking about the power being out, and I'm like, yep. But somehow the computers are still on, and he wondered if there was like a generator under the desk, and so I looked. I don't know what generators are supposed to look like, but I assumed there probably wasn't. And I think I would be correct because the computers went out too after a while. I don't know why they didn't go out immediately, but hey, whatever. So Z goes and gets some more people to come back here, mainly people that work back there usually. And they're talking about the power and what's going on. And then right at that moment, a coworker who will name C comes in the door that I usually go through. He comes into the room, he says something about the quick trip that's 2 blocks down. The power's out over there, apparently. I don't know what he said, really, I don't remember. But basically, it's out for at least 2 blocks. I later learned by talking to a coworker that apparently it was out for like 10 to 15 blocks. Now, I know what a block is. It's like when the road splits into 4 directions, and the corner of one of those 4 directions is the block. But I'm not exactly sure how they measure that. Like, I don't know how much land 10 to 15 blocks is, so, but I'm gonna assume it's quite a bit. Because I work in like a warehouse area with a bunch of warehouses, and it's kind of just an area of just nothing but those kinds of buildings. So I'm assuming every one of those buildings in that area are out. So Z's like, man, it could be raining cats and dogs and storming up the ass, and the electricity is perfectly fine, but on a clear sunny day like this, it's out. So clearly something happened. We don't know what yet, or at least I don't. I'll tell you one of the theories my coworkers came up with later, but basically, yeah, something must have happened to cause all this power to come out. So after a while, one of the people in charge there, I don't know if he would be my boss, I don't know exactly who the boss is, I think I know, but basically some higher up gathers us all outside by the main building, which is the opposite of the building that I work in, gathers us all up and says we all gotta go home. Power's out, and nothing we can do until tomorrow. Some man there was like, I was planning on working until 6:30 and everybody just laughs and crap, but anyway. So, okay, we were going home, which is good. I like going home early. It's not that I don't like my job, but, you know, going home is cool too, right? However, though, you guys all know that I don't have a driver's license or a car. Well, obviously I don't have I mean, I guess you could have a car without a driver's license, but anyway. So, yeah, I'm not able to take myself home. So that's kind of the big deal here. And I can't call my dad to come pick me up. I tried. I had my coworkers try even. Well, it did work this one time, but only for a brief moment. Thankfully, though, I was able to call him and say that the power's out and I need you to come pick me up. It's happened about 1:30, like it went out at 1:15, but I called him at 1:30. He said he's not able to pick me up till 2:15. Uh-oh. Everybody's gonna be gone by then, so this is kind of an episode, guys. No pun intended. This is definitely an episode. But anyways, this is kind of a big deal. So thankfully, though, one of my coworkers offered me a ride home. And thank God I had the address of my dad's house typed down. Well, on the ride home, my coworker, who will name G, stated that he predicted the tournament that had been happening not that far from there that was using an ass load of electricity that could have been what caused it. I don't know, I don't know if they share the same bank of electricity that we do. But anyway, so while he's driving me home, we talk to each other to get to know each other a bit more because I don't socialize that much with people back there. So I'd like to know more about these people that I work with, but it's not that I don't have the time to do it, it's just I'm kind of shy. So yeah, had this not happened, I probably wouldn't have got to know these guys as well as I do now. I mean, I still hardly know them at all, but at least when it comes to G, I get to learn about him a bit more. And believe it or not, he's actually younger than I am. He said he was 19. I'm almost 22. And I kind of look up to this guy. I thought he was a few years older. It's kind of weird. I look up to him. He's usually the guy that I ask for if I need help or something. And he's younger than I am. Kind of blows my mind. But, yeah, he's able to take me to my dad's house. And that takes care of that. Now look, I know wild stuff like this happens all the time. But this was kind of an event for me personally because, I don't know, I mean, I just couldn't get a hold of my dad or anybody. So I had to rely on my coworkers. And I never thought in my whole life that a coworker would be driving me to my house. I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I'm glad he did it. I mean, come on. I would have just been left there in the dark had he not done that. But it's just kind of weird to think about. I never thought that would happen, but here we are. Alright. I do believe that's the end of the episode. Tell me, I know nobody's watching this, but if you are, tell me what kind of a weird events you've had happen like that, how you've kind of been in a pickle, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.